Hello there. We're going to talk about the lab you're going to do for precipitation reactions. And so you have a worksheet. You're going to fill in the worksheet as we go. So we're going to write the observations that we see. The observations will be easy. You're just going to write down what you see. If there's no reaction, if there's no change, that means no reaction. And you're just going to write NR in the little box that you see on that data table, which is under number 2 in your worksheet. And then you're just going to write observations, but the more intense part is going to be when you go to the second page and you need to write balanced equations on the analyzed part, number 4, and then you need to write balanced net ionic equations. That's going to be probably the most difficult part for you to do. It's not easy when you're first doing net ionic equations, so please take your time. Make sure you have plenty of time before this is due to work on number 4, number 5. If you need additional space to write, then just grab a notebook page, and then you're going to upload all this in one PDF to me. But the 4 and 5 are the most challenging, and I need you to really make sure that the net ionic equations are correct for anything that formed a solid. So those are going to be difficult. So you need to be really take your time, go slowly and carefully so that you figure out how to go from the precipitation reaction to the net ionic equation. So please read the textbook and listen to any lectures that I have. I also have, I believe, a worksheet for you to practice net ionics. I'm going to be grading this very carefully for the net ionic equation, and you'll get most points for that part right there. So let's start. We're going to go into the chemistry stockroom. We're going to grab a test tube, and they want you to we're going to add the silver Ag plus to all of the test tubes for this first section, because we're going to look at silver nitrate. So we're going to grab the silver, we're going to fill it up. We filled up the test tube, and then we're going to go to the lab, and we're going to put it here in the test tube rack holder here, the metal holder, and we're going to make 4 more divisions so that we have 5 test tubes total. You're going to test this silver solution against 5 different other solutions and see if it works. So we're going to do this 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I have 5 test tubes total. And we are going to add each of the reagents to a test. We're going to do one test. We're going to take the silver test tube and we're going to add something to it. So the first thing we're going to do is the sodium carbonate. So we're going to grab this and we're going to put some in there. And we're going to see if there's a reaction. So that is what you're going to write down for the sodium carbonate square A and silver ion together. Okay, so every time you see a reaction, you're going to describe it, and you're going to tell me the color and what you notice about it. So make an observation in that square. If you need more room, you can make a new data table and upload it to me, but I need that data table filled in with what you see for your observations. All right, so that was the first one, sodium carbonate. Let's try the next one. Next, we're going to go to the sodium sulfide. So we're going to click on that and see what happens when we do the sodium sulfide. So there's your sodium sulfide and silver combination. So write what you see there. That's what the test tube looks like close up. All right, next one is going to be sodium hydroxide. So let's try that one. So write what you see in the test tube. There's a close-up of it. And then we'll move on. Next one is going to be sodium sulfate. So let's find that. Add that. Remember, if you don't see any change, then there's no reaction. So you're going to write that. And for a chemical reaction, you need a color change, a gas formed, and you need to have energy, heat, or an explosion, fire. Any of those things are signs that you have a chemical reaction. So let's try our last one, which is sodium chloride. So I'll put a little bit of sodium chloride, write down what you see. That's what the test tube looks like. And now we're going to get rid of that, and we'll move on to the lead. So I'm going to go back to the stock room. I'm going to grab a test tube. I'm going to go for the lead 2+, PB 2+. So I'm going to fill it, and I did that. Go back to the lab. I'm going to put it in the metal rack. Whoops. Come on. There we go. I'm going to make 5 test tubes total, and then we're going to start the reaction. So we're going to start with sodium carbonate, and there's your reaction. So write what you see. Next one, we're going to do lead with the sodium sulfide. There's that one. Write what you see. Next one, we're going to do sodium hydroxide. So there we go. Add that. There's what happened. Now we're going to add sodium sulfate. That's what happened. Last one is sodium chloride. And that's what we see there for that one. Alright, so those are all of the lead ones. Get rid of all the lead. Get it all clear. Come on. I think it cleared. Okay. Now we're going to go back to the lab. And last one we're going to do is calcium nitrate. So we're going to grab the calcium. Oh, I need to test it first. There we go. Calcium. Go back to lab. We're going to make 5 total. And then we're going to start reacting. So first one we're going to react with is calcium with the sodium carbonate. So there's what we see. So remember, everyone that does a reaction, you are going to do the balanced equation, and then you're going to do the net ionic. Net ionic's the most challenging. Here's we're doing calcium with sodium sulfide. Okay, there's what happened. Next one is going to be calcium and sodium hydroxide. So there's our results. That's what happened. So you have to figure out what we made, what's happening. So that's the challenging part. Okay, now we're doing calcium. We're on N with the voxel N there. Calcium with the sulfate, sodium sulfate, and that's what happened. That's what happened. Okay, last one. So now we're on the very last box, which is O. We have calcium and sodium chloride. So that's what happens. All right, so that is the lab. That was the easy part. Now the hard part for you is going to be number 4, number 5 on the analyze. So, and number 5 is where I'm going to be grading the most heavily, because net ionic is not an easy skill. So please practice that. If you have questions, let me know. But number 5 is the main point in this lab. I need you to know how to go from a balanced equation to a complete ionic to a net ionic. If you need to write out the net ionic, go do number 4, write the complete balanced, then do the complete ionic. That would probably be helpful to get down to 5, which is the net ionic. So I'd recommend you do it in that order. And I have worksheets, I believe, in this module for you to practice before you try finishing this lab and turning it in. So take your time. You'll need some time to do this part of the lab, and it's not easy. So, but I know you can do it. So try your best and ask me questions. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.